Hello, I am Tommy and I'm going to explain to you the nutrient description. This is going to be a new series of videos in which we are going to discuss what nutrients are and the fundamentals of the nutrients in depth. This is the first video, and in this one we are going to view what is the nutrition, what we understand as nutrition, and what are the nutrition stages. Let's begin. Nutrient description. Okay. Nutrition: involuntary processes associated with ingestion of food. Only the food ingestion is voluntary in this process, and maybe the deglutition of food. The phases are digestion, absorption, distribution and accumulation in some cases, the usage, and the elimination. We have to differentiate between feeding, nutrition, and dietetics. Feeding is the act of ingesting food. Nutrition is the act of getting nutrients in, and the involuntary process associated with ingestion of food. And dietetics is changing our ingesting behavior to obtain specific goals in nutrition. So a nutrient is everything we ingest that has energy, plastic, or regulatory function. Everything that has energy is a nutrient. Everything that gives us plastic function is a nutrient. And everything that regulates something in our body is a nutrient. Energy classification: we have macronutrients. You heard of these. These are the macros, the carbs, fats and proteins, and the micronutrients. These ones do not provide significant energy, and these are things such as vitamins and minerals. And then the necessities classification is essential nutrients and non-essential nutrients. The essential are those ones we need to live because we cannot synthesize them in adequate quantities. Okay, so now we're going to focus on nutrition stages: hunger and satiety, hormonal signals. So basically we will start these stages when these hormones will trigger. If hunger starts, then we will probably ingest and digestion will start. And then when satiety arrives, we stop and we get into absorption and distribution, and then of course elimination. So let's start with digestion. Digestion, well, we have digestion in many areas of our gastrointestinal tract. In the mouth, it starts with mechanical and enzymatic, serous and mucus. The mechanical is chewing. When we chew, we are breaking down foods, and that's the one part of digestion. And enzymatic, because we have the amylase that is going to break down the carbohydrates, the starches. They are going to break down the starch and create dextrose and glucose. In the stomach, then we have the autonomic nervous system and the hormonal regulation through the gastrin. Those are going to trigger various substances in the stomach to induce the digestion, such as HCl production to lower the pH and degradation of all three macronutrients, and pepsin, as you can see here, the intrinsic factor for the vitamin B12, and mechanical also. Mechanical digestion, because the stomach contracts itself to create the cud. And enzymatic, as I said, this is all regulated by the autonomous nervous system and hormonally. In the small intestine, then we have the, again, hormonal and autonomic nervous system In this case, the secretin is the main one. Here as well we have other hormones, but gastrin is most important. And in small intestine we have the secretin as well. We have the mechanical and enzymatic digestion here again. Mechanical because we have the peristaltis that will pump the chyme to continue his pathway through our digestive system, and on the way we have enzymes such as the pancreatic juice, which is released in the duodenum, that will eventually digest the free macronutrients, because it has amylases, proteases and lipases, and it will increase the pH. The proteins concentration will be lower because we came from the stomach and we have to raise that pH level. And the intestinal juice is involved into the ultimate digestion of those last nutrients, such as peptides and dextroses. Then if we continue, we have absorption. In the duodenum we absorb the calcium, the iron and the magnesium, together with the sugars and the vitamin C. Sugars are the glucose, the fructose and the galactose. Glucose and galactose will enter through the same transporter to the enterocyte, whereas the fructose has its own transporter. In the jejunum ileum we have the absorption of amino acids and the fat-soluble vitamins and fats and the chylomicrons, because we release the bile. The main thing the bile does is emulsifying those fats so they are able to cross the water layer and then get inside the enterocytes. So that's why we have the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins and fats past the duodenum. And then the fats are going to get into chylomicrons, especially the long-chain fatty acids, and they will enter the lymphatic system. They do not go through the blood straight forward. Whereas the other nutrients that are not fats, they enter the portal hepatic circulation and they go straight to the liver. In the colon we absorb minerals and hydrosoluble vitamins and water. There is an inert water layer we have to pass, and most of substances can go through the water layer easily except fats, and that's why we have to create the micelles using bile to cross this layer. And then once in the enterocyte, in this case, get inside the chylomicrons, and whereas other substances may even stay there, but the majority will go to the bloodstream, and then from the bloodstream they will enter the liver. And here we go to distribution and transport. Short-chain fatty acids, they do not need a lymphatic system. They go straight forward to the bloodstream and they go to the liver. In case of vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin B12, vitamin B9 and iron, these substances are stored in the liver. And there is also stored energy in tissues. You have to know that we store energy in form of, well, the first one is glycogen. Glucose is stored in form of glycogen. Then we have the fats and the adipocyte, which is fat storage, and the muscle, because we as humans, we use firstly the glucose as the energy fuel, but if there is no glucose, then we start to using fats as fuel. And if we finish the fat, which is unlikely, because that for doing that we will starve ourselves for days, even weeks, we will use as energy our muscle tissue, and then if we prolong that, we will eventually eat even our organs. But the thing is that we store energy in our tissues, and the main storage of energy is our fat. In fact, we approximately have 2,000 calories stored as glycogen, and more or less, depending on how many fat we have 130,000 calories stored as fat. Then we have catabolic reactions and anabolic reactions. Catabolic means to simplify, to degrade. We have a complex molecule and we chop it down to simple molecules. It's like we have a constructed Lego finished and we start to remove all the pieces of and we destroy it eventually. And then the anabolic is the reverse. We have those pieces of Lego and we create a bigger structure. That's catabolic degradation and anabolic creation. Very, very easy. And the catabolic reactions are the macrose degradation we saw in the digestion, and then the acetyl-CoA creation and the Krebs cycle. Catabolic reactions degrade the macronutrients we have in our diet in small parts, and then with those small parts, those small molecules will eventually go through the metabolism, and they will create energy. And if you want to know more about metabolism, check my videos of the metabolism series in my channel. The anabolic reactions are, for example, from albumins we can create muscle, from the cholesterol we can create the membranes so we can repair our tissues, and from calcium, phosphorus and amino acids we can create the bones, for example, and teeth. And then we have the regulatory functions, the water-salt balance, which is very important, the hormones and enzymes, the cofactors, the immune system, the muscles, the coagulation. All these functions are very, very important for our body to function properly. And we achieve all those three things with the nutrients we get in our diet. And then we have elimination, because when we have too much, or when we have already used those nutrients and we don't need it anymore, we have in some cases to eliminate them. And the majority is excreted through urine. The macros, the carbons from macros are converted in CO2 from the metabolism of the carbon, and they are exhaled in air. The water that comes with the degradation of the macros and the utilization of the in the whole metabolism is eliminated in the urine, as well as the urea. Urea is the concentration of nitrogen that comes with the amino acids of the proteins we ingest. And the ammonia we create is very toxic, and urea as well is toxic, but we will eliminate it through the urine. And then the micros, the minerals go through the urine. And then the vitamins, they go to the liver, and in the liver they go through the bile, and they are excreted through the feces, because the bile is secreted to the duodenum, and once in the lumen of the gastrointestinal tract they get out with the feces. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. This was the first video of the nutrient description series. Hit the like button below and the subscribe button as well if you didn't. Share this video with friends and family so they can learn as well what nutrients are, and I hope you enjoyed. See you on the next one.